So Cyberpunk 2077 just came out, and people are already giving it the Mass Effect treatment, all because of a big ol' oopsie that Polygon went ahead and released. And for some odd reason, people actually ate this shit up. And that's why in today's video, we're actually going to be reviewing this horrible excuse of an article that completely dismisses the points made by the Cyberpunk team. If you are wondering why Cyberpunk is in controversy, though, and why this article was made, basically a lot of people are saying that it's transphobic due to a certain poster in the game where there's this transgender woman drinking a drink, and she's promoting a certain drink called Mix It Up. And a lot of people are saying that this is transphobic when really the creator of that poster on the design team said that it was supposed to be a representation of companies exploiting certain groups. But Stacy Henley here said, nah, it simply can't be the reason why the creator of it said it was. It's gotta be some hidden meaning. I don't buy it. So they basically twisted it into a piss fire of a Cyberpunk is transphobic message. And here's the kicker. The entire article has ads all over it saying buy Cyberpunk. So it's basically got this entire thing of shitting on it for being transphobic while tempting you to buy it at the same time because they need money. Clearly Polygon doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're just trying to stage this for a political stunt. Giving it the Mass Effect treatment was a good move, but you kind of ruin that whenever your entire fucking article is nothing but Cyberpunk ads. This goes to show that anybody who should believe this article should probably look at it again, because they clearly missed the fact that Polygon simply doesn't give a fuck, and are more than likely painting this narrative for the sake of drama rather than the sake of representation. But without further ado, let's read this dumpster fire of an article. Cyberpunk 2077 has mastered parasocial advertising as only the best influencers can. The game's Twitter account swaps jokes between Elon Musk, and despite the tech billionaire Musk fitting the cliched description of many Cyberpunk villains, both Musk and Cyberpunk 2077 share a similar online presence, stoking controversy and gaining legions of loyal defenders with every tweet. The game's marketing has a Fred Durst-esque edginess persona that has defined the conversation around the game. Cyberpunk 2077 already has one of the 20 most followed game subreddits, and it's not even out yet. CDProjectRed has got everybody talking about this game, though not always for the right reasons. You could already tell that this article is about to make something overly serious as it's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure that this article starting off like this has been done multiple times with other video games. In fact, I think it's kind of the Polygon trademark to do this type of stuff before reviewing a video game poorly. Like, they're always like, but there's always a hidden meaning behind something. Yeah, I wouldn't say that Cyberpunk has any hidden meaning behind it whenever the creators up front say that a certain thing is a certain way because they envision it that way. You can't just go ahead and deny that, and you honestly don't know how to journalize at all if you're going to ignore what the creators say almost entirely. My skepticism started when the game revealed its controversial Mix It Up promotional poster back in June 2019. This poster featured a feminine model with what can only be described as a huge bulging penis. Her skin-tight leotard left nothing to the imagination, even the veins were visible. At the time, some fans called out the imagery as exploitative, mocking, and transphobic. Though CDPR defended the poster, I like how this person looks, said Kezia Radusiek. I hope I said that properly. The artist who designed the poster at the time. However, this model is used, their beautiful body is used, for corporate reasons. They are displayed, they're just as a thing, and that's the terrible part of it. Oh look, a Buy Cyberpunk 2077 ad. Also, keep in mind that this controversy is very old, as it does say that this did take place in 2019. What I don't see is how this can still be a problem today, considering that they did come out and say what they meant it to be. And this is what this writer had to say about it. I don't buy it. While a cutting critique of queer commodification might have been part of the idea's nucleus, the outcome is a commodification itself, objectifying trans people as creatures of deviance defined by their genitals and suitable only for sexualization or rejection. That statement is not a commodification at all. The creator of the poster clearly stated that that poster was to represent that queers and transgenders are wrongfully exploited in the industries that they go into, alright? There's no hidden meaning behind it. The game takes place in a dystopian future. Of course, you're supposed to believe that a dystopian future has some pretty fucked up shit in it. So that poster being in a dystopian future is clearly saying that it's bad. That is why it is the perfect response to your Cyberpunk is transphobic argument. They don't even go into definition of how it's transphobic. Polygon just moves on to the next point, completely disregarding the fact that they're trying to make a already existing point that it's transphobic. No, instead they go to CDProjectRed's old Twitter post about edgy jokes towards extreme feminists that go ahead and say, "Did you just assume my gender?" Or extreme transgenders, should I say. It is clearly an edgy joke that they were making at the time, and it was in 2018. I can only assume it was because of Battlefield 5, because we all know what happened with that controversy. I'm not going to look into it. I don't think anybody needs to look into it. It was just an edgy joke. Get over it. Move on. While I didn't believe CDProjectRed's stated intentions around the Mix It Up poster, that didn't mean they couldn't become true. When I was a kid, trans stories on television and in movies were hard to come by. I learned to see the trans experience in things that were designed to mock it. Body switching stories, boys being made to dress up as girls or given makeovers as punishments, boys being pushed into the unspeakable horror of the girls' bathroom. The poster seemed tied to the then rumored, now confirmed prospect of creating a protagonist similar to the character in the poster. It seemed like the closest big budget games would ever get to embracing a trans character, even if it had to sit alongside exploitation dressed up as social commentary and come with humiliation disguised as humor as well. Oh my god, would you just go ahead and fucking provide evidence as to how their statement still is invalid about why they created that poster? Like, you're sitting here saying that it has to sit alongside exploitation dressed up as social commentary, which they said, and come with humiliation disguised as humor as well. Explain where the humor is. Explain why they need to go ahead and say that it is humorous in any sort of way. They never said it was humorous. Like, they didn't say the poster was supposed to be humorous. They straight up say it's a social commentary. Fucking take it as such. Quit trying to twist the narrative. Also, you go ahead and say that you don't believe that it's true, and this is where I think everybody who actually did believe this article to be 100% legit, a fucking review of how Cyberpunk is transphobic, they say in this article that they don't believe it, but it could be true, meaning that the intentions that CDProjectRed are all the more valid to say that, yeah, this is a social commentary. We want it to represent a social commentary. However, in this person's mind, the person writing the article, they're saying, but in my mind, it's different. So they're trying to project this idea onto you that there's actually something wrong with it, and for you not to take the developer's words for it, despite the fact that they went through the trouble of putting trans characters in the customization. You're able to be a trans character in this game. they are not doing what you think that they're doing, Polygon. Like, they are trying to be very pandering. Well, I wouldn't say pandering to trans people, but I would say very representative of trans people. Sorry, I'm fucking fumbling over my words here because of how retarded this article is and how much brain cells is making me lose. The Mix It Up poster is so brazenly exploitative of trans people, conjuring up very transphobic images and ideas that indelibly link trans people to the contents of their underwear, images that are responsible for real-world harm to trans people. Yet there's a deep irony in that it offers trans people one of the few opportunities to see ourselves and play as ourselves in gaming. So basically what you're saying is that having that poster there is wrong in sense of the game's context that the companies are exploiting it. And what you're also saying is that it's good that it's there because you want to be oppressed. You want to feel oppressed. Wow. I honestly, like, I don't know how to take this one, guys. Like, do you want to be oppressed, or do you want to see that you're oppressed and you want to feel glad that this could be changed, that this is being called out? Because right now, how it's sounding is that you don't want it to be called out because you feel as though that in itself is oppression. What? Because of all that, Mix It Up has arguably become the single most divisive, most controversial moment in the entirety of Cyberpunk 2077's marketing, yet it's the one they've decided to build around. Since then, the game's official Twitter account has joked around about canceling the FIFA 78 pre-order due to the lack of vagina options, a joke which pokes fun at their own potentially progressive non-gendered character creator, again trying any positive representation of trans people to mockery, exploitation, and humiliation. CDPR also included a cisgender cosplayer as the Mix It Up girl among their cosplay contest finalists. Even if you buy the company line that the poster represents how queer bodies have been appropriated for marketing, their entire argument is negated when they have a cis person dress up in that queer body as part of their own video game marketing. This is so fucking retarded. Polygon, CDProjectRed is not going to exploit a transgender for marketing for a poster that is supposed to represent the horrible nature of exploiting a transgender for marketing. It's very clear that their intentions are not to partake in those practices while also trying to, in some way, show that those practices are horrible. They don't want to partake in those practices, and you're saying that's somehow transphobic? Because they used a woman with a fake penis in a cosplay costume instead for that photo? Are you sure that you're not the transphobic ones? Because you're literally telling them to partake in transphobic practices. Just shut the fuck up. Anybody who honestly believed that this point right here was the point to end all points to prove that fucking CDProjectRed is transphobic in any sort of way, you're honestly retarded if you thought that was a valuable point. This person then proceeds in this article to fucking say that, oh, Cyberpunk tries to tie the voice to the genitalia. That is completely untrue. In the customization menu, you can go ahead and pick a male voice for your female body. Like this person says they would typically want a male voice and a more typical female body. You could do that. You don't need the corresponding genitalia that is matching your voice. That is completely optional. And you know, some transgenders, they want to be completely woman. So what they do is they either make a full woman character or they go ahead and make a male character that has a female voice and gives them a fucking penis, or like, so on and so forth. Like, there are so many ways to create your transgender character in this game. I don't know how, in any possible way, shape, or form, that is transphobic at all. You clearly did not pay attention to the customization at all, and you act as though that in order to have a male voice, if you're a female but you want to identify as a male, you have to have a penis. No, you can have a fucking vagina if you want, but some transgenders don't want a fucking vagina, so that's why the option for genitalia is there. You are a dumbass. Stop fucking speaking nonsense about stuff that you clearly know nothing about. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. The last couple paragraphs of the article was more of a wrap-up than, like, trying to make points against the game. Which, by the way, game ads are all over the fucking article saying go buy Cyberpunk. So this is clearly a publicity stunt. I don't know how anybody could have fallen for this. Anyone with a brain can tell you that this was just untrue and they weren't really going into detail on how it could support their points. I don't understand what is up with fake media like Polygon going ahead and saying that certain things are transphobic or whatnot. And this article was honestly what every single transgender that did get offended used. And it's only because they read this article. They didn't play the game or anything, because this article actually came out before the game's release. So, yeah, that should say a lot. I'm pretty sure if transgenders did, in fact, play the game, there are some I do know of from the top of my head that have played it, and they enjoy it. They don't see any transphobic messages anywhere. In fact, they're trying to see that Project Red is, in fact, calling out the exploitation, and that it's bad, and that they didn't want to partake in those practices, so they hired a fucking girl cosplayer for it. It's not that bad. Polygon knows nothing of what they're talking about. They don't know a damn thing about marketing, clearly, because they honestly, my mind is still wrapped in the fact that they wanted CDProjectRed to go against their own morals just to go ahead and push a message that they wanted to push. But hey, it's whatever. They didn't do it. I say CDProjectRed did everything right, and Cyberpunk 2077 is an amazing game so far from what I've seen. And if you guys want to play it, go ahead. If you don't, then don't. If you want to get offended, get offended. Believe this retarded article. I don't care. You guys have a nice day. I'll see you guys later.